I start? Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to class. I hope you guys spent some time during the week maybe getting familiar with VS Code. So I'll let you guys just log in, open up VS Code, and take a look at the material that we worked on last session. Just 5 minutes just reviewing that stuff. You guys can spend time doing that for a few minutes, and there'll be probably a few more people joining too, so. And then I'll get started with what we're going to be doing today at around 11:06.
First of all, join this. I don't really know what we're doing.
Is this your first session?
Yeah.
Or were you here last week?
No, this is my first session. I was not here last week.
Okay, could you download, could you go to your browser and download VS Code? Wait,
Yeah.
I'll put the instructions in the chat for anyone who's new this session.
Okay.
For any new people this session, so I put the instructions to what we did last session in the chat. It's just the overall like what we downloaded and like how we got started. But there were more things that we did, but I can kind of review that in the first 5 minutes of today's lesson, so you'll be fine. And we'll start in just a minute.
I also posted the recording of session one, Amma, so it would be helpful.
Yeah, definitely go look at that. There's a link to that in the WhatsApp group. So we can move on a little bit faster this lesson then. All right, you guys can see my screen, right? The schedule. Okay. So today's session we're gonna be getting started with a few more basic fundamentals, and I'm gonna also show you guys what the final project for this course is going to be. So first, we're gonna be learning what sequencing and algorithms are, because that's a really key point for us to do our final project. Next, we'll be doing some coding examples using dividees. We mentioned this in the last lesson, so if you guys need a refresher on that, definitely go look at that recording after this class. But I'll also be going over notes on that, so you guys will probably not even need to go and look back at the video unless you need more help. And then we'll be doing a little bit on how functions work, the parameters of functions, and all that stuff. And I hope you guys got a little bit familiar with VS Code over last week after the lesson. And this week, you guys should just try making more projects to see what you come up with. And if you guys need any help, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp. Would you guys like a link to the slideshows actually so you guys could follow along? Would that be helpful? Okay, so first of all, before we get into the lesson, here's what we're going to be doing for the final project. One of them at least. So this is just a basic website using div IDs, which we're going to be learning today. And how to display images, which we covered a little bit on the last session, as well as how to pinpoint which image we need to go to, and a little bit of algorithms too, which we're also going to be introducing today. And there's also some math, like the percentage and calculating the final price of what you order. So pretty much to preface this website, it's a street food hut. That's what I made mine. You guys could of course make yours, whatever. And there's a menu. You could pick an appetizer, a main course, and a beverage. So first of all, there's appetizer, main course, and beverage, as I mentioned. And there's three things or like items in each category. So in appetizer, I have pani puri, samosa, bhel puri, and just more like food items. You guys can make this like I seen other students make like Italian food and just like anything that you guys want. Get creative with it. And when you click on one of the items, the image should pop up according to the food item that you selected. So if I click samosa, that image pops up. And there's also a price that goes along with it. So there's a specific price for each item. And every time you click on an item, it calculates that price and puts that towards the total when you click submit order. So now if I click bhel puri, which is $6, plus a main course if I choose pav bhaji, which is $14, and then a beverage, you can also select nothing. So if I just put none, the price is going to be NA, not available. And then you could just type in your name. You don't have to actually put in your phone number. And then if you click check, if you like text alerts about your order, it's gonna either mention that you selected this or not in the final order when you click submit order. And then we have a tip. So when you click 7, for example, that's gonna be a tip percentage. And finally, when you click submit order, it outputs all the data that you just put into the website or what the user clicks, right? So I typed in Rushita for the customer name. So I took that data and put it in right here. And I typed in my phone as 4 times, which it also took and put right here. And then now it's calculating the final price by taking the appetizer, the main course, and the beverage. So over here, it mentions what I selected for each one of these. So it selects what I mentioned for each one of these. And then finally, it calculates the subtotal, which is going to be $11 because 5 plus 6 is 11. And then for tip percent, I put 7. So it calculated 0.77 cents. And that's how it got the total amount. And over here, it says, we'll text you when your order is ready. Please pay for your order in store, right? So this was as a result of this Boolean that we did right here. So when we unclick this and just click submit order, it's going to output a different message. So these are a result of if statements or if else statements, which is also something we're going to try to get to today. If we don't, it's fine. We'll get to it in the next session. So does anyone have any questions on the overall website of what we'll be doing? You can turn on your mic or just put in the chat real quick.
So I still can't go to the website that I created with the VS Code. From last class only, I couldn't go.
We'll definitely be going over that stuff again today. If not, maybe look at the video from last time, but we'll try doing it again today. So hopefully it'll work, and maybe we'll go a little bit slower with actually opening it up.
Okay.
Oh wait, you're right. It says the main is $14. I think it might be a small typo in the code, but you guys get the general gist of how the website should work, right?
Remember you said like the slideshow?
Yeah, I'll be
Like
putting the
about-
link. I'll be putting the link right now because we'll get started with
Yeah.
the slideshows.
So in last class, so in the video, like you said a slideshow too, but I couldn't find the slideshow anywhere.
Yeah, the slideshow, the link was in the chat actually, in the meeting
Oh.
chat. So if you opened it during the meeting, it should have been in your drive, but I'll put them in here right now again though.
Okay.
I wasn't here last class, so I didn't get to make the website.
Yeah, if you go to the Atmiya YouTube channel, the link the last session is on there, so you guys could access that there.
Right, so after this class, should I do that or?
Yeah, I think you should just stay for this class right now. You could ask more questions, right? Because we're not going to be doing anything too complicated that you have to know what we did last time.
Okay.
So yeah, and we'll be kind of reviewing a little bit of those topics too, so you're fine, I think.
Okay.
All right, give me a sec to share this with you guys. Okay, I put the link to the slideshows in the meeting chat, so if you guys could take a look at that. All right, so a key part of programming is sequencing and algorithms, right? So what is sequencing? Sequencing is just one action, which is then followed by another action and then another action and so on until all the actions in the sequence have been carried out. So an example of this could just be like in a website where there could be a text box. We talked about this in the last session, how to make text boxes in websites. So in that text box, if I asked, how old is your dog? You would type in your dog's age. That's the sequence of things that like happen, right? First the question's asked and then the user types in the dog's age. And then the website stores the input of what the user typed in. So I take what you guys typed in to the website and I store that somewhere because I'm using that for something else, right? And then if I want to see how many like dog years that is or in human years, I would just multiply that by 7, right? So that's the next part of the sequence. You guys don't have to understand specifically how this particular programming is working, but just pretty much that there's a sequence of events that occur, right? And then finally, after calculating everything, the output is in dog years, your dog is aged, and then you just put how many years that is. So that's a sequence. And this is also known as pseudocode. So pseudocode is pretty much not actual code, but like just putting in comments how the code would work. This is really helpful when you don't know how to like solve some kind of coding problem, but you want to like get started with it. You can just type in, okay, so this is the problem that I'm trying to solve, right? So how do I break it down? I'm trying to get a dog's years and I'm trying to get a dog's years and like turn it into a different kind of age. So first I need to get the dog's age and then I need to store that age, then I need to put it in a variable and then turn it into what I'm trying to get the years to be, and then finally output that age. So that's a sequence of events that occur. So that's pretty much what a sequence is. Any questions on that? All right, so then algorithms. So an algorithm is a defined ordered set of rules, steps, instructions to follow when solving a problem. So there's a lot of ways to solve one problem. So you may see like some of my solutions make no sense to you guys because that's just simply not how your brain would have solved a specific problem, right? So just know that there's always a lot of different ways to solve one kind of coding problem or like one kind of issue that you're dealing with in your code. But yeah, an algorithm, it's kind of just encompassing a sequence. So what we learned what a sequence was, it's pretty much that, but like a little bit more complicated, as in it has multiple sequences embedded into an algorithm. So this is an example of an algorithm, right? So if you're trying to make some kind of recipe, you first place flour and then oatmeal and then baking powder and then salt into a bowl. And then you melt the butter, make a well in the center of the flour mixture, and just so on and so forth. There's so many different steps that need to come together to put some kind of like, to make a product, a final like finished thing, right? That's pretty much what an algorithm is. So every time you're baking or cooking, you're pretty much performing an algorithm. If you guys have any questions on sequencing or algorithms, let me know in the chat real quick. All right, now we're going to be covering div IDs, which I mentioned at the beginning of class, right? So also this is going to be a little refresher from last session. So first of all, last time we covered how you create a basic web page, right? So just the title tag, the header tags, and how the text decreases in size when you put like a larger number in the header tags. As the numbers get greater, the text gets smaller. And then we talked about a little bit about div IDs, which we'll be actually implementing today in our code. And then I'm not sure if we talked about buttons, but here's a button tag. I think we did actually, yeah. So this is how you create a button on a website and how you get it to show up. It's all in your body tags, remember? So the head is going to be the style and the title of the web page. The body is going to be what's actually going to be showing up. So the text, the buttons, the text boxes on your website, that's going to be all in the body of your code. All right, so now we can get started with opening up VS Code. So if you guys went to Chrome and typed in VS Code download from last time and just downloaded the version that you need for your computer, it should have been in your folders or your Finder files. And after you open it up from here in your applications or your recents or your downloads is where it should be, I'm pretty sure, in the visuals. It's called Visual Studio Code. So if you open that up, you want to right click and then click New File. Is everyone there? Can we move on? All right, I'll give you a few more minutes to get here. So just open up VS Code. If you were here last session, you should have already downloaded it, and you could just double click on it. So to ignore what's on my screen right now, so if you want to make a new file in VS Code, you want to right click in your mouse pad and then click New File. And personally, if I was doing this course as a student, I'd create a new folder and then name it something like Atmiya like classes, which is what I did right here. I made a little folder, and in that folder I would right click and then make a new file, just so that your code is more organized. So is anyone here at this step where they create a new file? Okay, I'll wait for a few more minutes to get everyone here. Okay, so if it's not giving you the drop-down menu to create a new file when you right-click, it's kind of odd. It should do that. But if it's not, just go to your taskbar on the top and then click File.
We're supposed to do it with our 2 fingers, right?
When you're right-clicking, I
Yeah.
don't think it should matter if you do it with your one finger or two. Just right-click on your mouse pad. Otherwise, you could just go to File, and when you click New Text File up here, you can just, this screen will come up, and then you can click New File right here. Okay. I think it's working for a few people, so I'll get started now. Or should I wait?
When I'm trying to get to the app, it's not letting me go in there.
Like with VS Code, you aren't able to get into VS Code?
Well, I am but I can't find the like.
You can't create a new file?
Yeah, I can't find the file.
Okay, so when you click new text, when you go to file on the top and you click new text file or new window, no, not new window, just click new text file, then this screen should be popping up. The Visual Studio Code editing evolved. Over here, click new file. Over here, you want to click new file. And then here, this thing on top will come up, and here you can type in the name. And for the name, I want you guys to type in divid example.html. Remember, we always have to have .html at the end to indicate to VS Code, the coding platform, what kind of language or platform we want to be coding on. So it understands that what we're typing is in HTML, so it can properly run without compile errors.
But when I'm trying to get to the app, it's like getting me to a different file.
Do you want to share your screen?
Okay. Let me just like get into it and then show you. Um, it's not letting me share the screen.
Oh, right. I think you may not be able to share your screen because you're not the host. Okay, do you want to just describe what's going on right now?
Okay.
I made you the co-host, Amma. You can share your screen now.
Okay, try sharing your screen again.
Okay, yeah. Can you see it?
Yeah, you created the file. Good. You just have to click enter now.
Oh,
Like you typed that in, right? Oh wait, you're searching the file. You're not creating a new file. So you see the little paper thing at the left, like the taskbar with the search, like the magnifying glass and all that?
yeah. This one?
Click on the one right above that. Click on the icon right above that.
This
It's
one?
like the paper. Yeah, click on that. Now that opened up, you can right click here, go down, go to like the black space underneath, and right click right there. No,
one?
don't go down there. Just stay in the right below clone repository, right click.
Yeah, this one.
Just right click right there. You don't click that, just right click, like in the black space. Don't click any of the links, just right click. Is nothing coming up?
No.
Okay, then go up to your taskbar, like when you just put your screen, like mouse go up, make your mouse go up. Over there, you're gonna get an option called File. If you click on File, like when you just make your mouse go up, when it's a full screen, right
Full
next to
screen.
code, it's gonna say File.
How do I get the full screen?
Yeah, can you maximize that? Yes. Can you maximize that?
Just like maximize your screen.
Yeah.
It's not like okay. File.
Yeah. Okay. So now click File. Yeah. After you click File, click New File. And now type in div id example dot html. So div id again, and then example example example.
Don't give a space.
Yeah. One more thing, you should not give spaces, and you want to also do this in camel case, which means that after every word is finished, the next word starts with the capital. So what I just typed into chat right now is how you should be creating it.
What did you name it again?
It's in the chat. It's called dividexample.html. And then do .html, and then you want to click enter. And then click create file,
This one.
like the button that, no, go down. After you clicked enter, this is what showed up, right?
Yeah.
Now just click create file. Yeah, I think it might be because you didn't create a file, that's why it wasn't working earlier, but this is fine. So do you want to
Okay.
stop sharing your screen now? I think it's working.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so if you made a typo while naming it, you can right click on the file like that, and then there's an option at the bottom called rename. So you could click on that and then rename the file. Okay, so pretty much what a div ID is, now that we got in here, I'll kind of simultaneously be going like back and forth between the slides and this. So all right, so pretty much what we're trying to do is make a basic website and then have like a button in the website which we click, and then some kind of text to show up based on what button we click, right? So for that, let's review like the basic how we made a basic website last time, right? So these are the overall tags. We always need to have that at the top. Oh wait, no, you guys aren't here yet, right? Okay, so you guys probably have like an empty screen right now. So you want to click shift exclamation point and then click enter. And then you can get like the basic template. And also, I had a few people ask last time what these meta tags were at the top. So these weren't there the last time I used VS Code, so I wasn't exactly sure, but I knew they didn't really make an impact on what we're learning right now. So that's why I didn't really go into it, but I did a little bit of research, and meta tags are pretty much just for better user experience. It's like when you're viewing a website and you want to know more about how the website was made, like when you right click and then look at the source code. This is pretty much kind of just helping like for a better user experience, pretty much. We don't really need these right now, but you can just leave them too. There's no harm in deleting or not deleting. Okay, so if your files aren't showing at the left, at the side of your screen on the left, you should be clicking Explorer. So click on that, and then your files will show up. And if you like click it again, your files go away, so that you can have a larger screen. Like when you click the Explorer, it doesn't open. Mm. Oh, it opens up, but there's nothing in it because you guys didn't make any files. These are all files that I made from earlier projects. So it makes sense if you guys are using VS Code for the first time. If you guys don't have this, right? You should only be having the div ID example.html file or the file from what we worked on last time. Oh, if they're not showing up, so okay, right now let's just do this together. I want all of you guys to create a new folder and name it web dev classes or something of that sort, so you guys can keep track of all your files from now. It doesn't really matter if you didn't save the one from last time. It's not a big deal. We didn't do anything complicated, so you guys could do that again. So did everyone create a folder? So to create a folder, it's the same thing as to create a new file. You can either right click in this space right here and then click new folder instead of new file, or you can go to the file option on the top, and then when you click that, you can click new folder. It should pop up, but it's not popping up for me because I'm typing in one right now. So yeah. Is it not working for you when you right click, Aditi? Okay then. I think the only option on how to create a new file you guys will have to just right click and make a folder. Or if you click new, yeah, the only way to create a new folder, unless you already made one in your hard drive, it's gonna be to just right click right here and then click new folder. Do you guys see my screen right now? Because if you click file, it says new file, but yeah, I don't see the new folder option either. It just says open folder. So I think the only way you can make a new one is just right click right here. Just right click and then click new folder. And then you can just name this course whatever kind of name you want to do. So yeah, if you guys aren't seeing all these files, it's just because you didn't create them. So it's nothing that you like VS Code it's not working or something. It's just that you didn't create them yet. Maybe by the end of this course, you'll have way more folders. So okay, so now I created this folder, right? Atmiya Web Dev Intro 23. So now when I open this file, I have one file. When I open the folder, I have one file in here because I moved it here earlier. But I'll just make a new one along with you guys. So when you right click on the folder, you can click new file. If it works from the file explorer, you could do it that way too. Wait, what kind of computer are you using? I'm just wondering, Aditi. Okay, yeah, that makes sense if you're using Windows for that. Because there's just little kinks that just like don't work with all types of computers. So it might be that. Okay, so now that we created a new folder, you want to right click on the selected folder. It should highlight blue like this. And then you want to click new file. Now when you click new file, since we already made the file called div_id example, if you want to make a new file, you could do that. Otherwise, you could just drag the file that you made earlier and then drop it into this folder. So this was my file from the last class, right? The last session that we did. And I want to put this into my Atmiya folder. So I could just click on this and then drag it into here. And then something might pop up like refactoring, like that you want to move it into this file. You could just click move. And now you can see that it's in that Atmiya file. So when I close it or open it, it's all categorized into one specific file. Okay, so we'll be going over how to open our website in just a second after we do some work in the div_id example. So I'll be going ahead with the lesson for div_ids now. Okay, so first of all, we want to add a title to our website, right? So in these two title tags right here, where it says document, this is just filler text that they just automatically put in when we create a new file. And also if anyone didn't get to the part where they like just click shift exclamation point and then click enter and they aren't able to get to where we are right now with all this code on our screen, I'm gonna paste this into the chat so you have that. You can copy paste it if you'd like instead, if you find that that's simpler. But I'll be moving on now. So in the text, you can just say testing div IDs maybe. That's what I'm gonna name mine. And then right after the style tags, remember that to go to the one that we did before, it'll be the same process. So we can go over that towards after this lesson. So if your exclamation point and shift isn't working, I copied and pasted the code. So you could just put that template into your VS Code. Okay, so continuing on. So after the title tags, we have the style tags, right? So we talked about how style tags mostly just have
Hello?
sorry. I
Yeah,
think I said.
I meant like my exclamation shift. Like when I did that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, how the whole thing pops up, right?
Yeah.
When I tap that, it's not coming onto my screen. It just disappeared.
What disappeared?
Like like what do you call it? Like when you do your exclamation shift, like the words pop up.
Yeah, okay. So this is where we were, right? So click shift and at the same time click the key 1 on your keyboard and then click enter right after. So you don't want to do it all at the same time.
Oh yeah, it worked now.
Yeah, you want to first click shift and then 1 and then click enter.
Yeah, because when I was like doing that, I was trying to like tap the words instead of enter. So yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm glad it works now. Okay, so right after the start, right after the
Can you do
yeah.
that one more time to get the dog type, all those things?
Yeah, okay. So first click shift on your keyboard and then click the number 1. Like click shift and 1 at the same time and then click enter. So shift 1 and then enter.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so we talked about how the style tags come right after the title tag. So let's make real quick some style tags. You want to do a less than symbol and then type in style and then a greater than sign. And then click enter and these are going to be our style tags. I'll give you guys a sec and then we'll
Can
be...
you go over what you just did right now?
Yeah, so what I just did was I typed in a less than symbol and then I typed in style and then I put the greater than symbol and then when you do that it automatically finishes the style tags for you. So this next part should come automatically when you click enter and then when you click return, this is how it's supposed to be formatted.
Can you wait for a second? I'm way behind.
Yeah, for sure. I'll give you guys a few minutes to get here. Oh yeah, I forgot to share these notes with you guys. Let me do that real quick. I just put the link in the chat for the slideshows, for the slides that we're currently looking at. So you guys could look at that to take a closer look, or if you want to look at the slides that we'll be going on to before we actually get there, just to like get a little preview. All right, so after you create the style tags, the style tags are pretty much what encompasses all of your like website's colors, the text, not the text, but like the font of your text, or if you want any borders to show up on your website, if you want your text on the website to be aligned or not, all of that will be in the style tags, right? So first, if you want to get like a background color, we want to do body and then curly braces, and then you want to type in background. And as I mentioned in the last lesson, there's always going to be these little like texts that like come up as you're typing, and you really want to make use of them and just click tab instead of typing every single character in. It saves so much time. So definitely do that. And now we can just choose a color for our website. So I'm going to just choose aquamarine. And now you want to click enter. And now let's choose the font that we want our website's text to be in. So I want to do my font family as, I'll choose this last one right here. So after that, I think that'll be enough style right now. We can do more later on if we feel that's necessary, but since we're just making a basic div ID example website, this should be fine for now. And also, you want to make sure that you want to make sure that you understand that the style is part of the CSS of this project, right? So this course, you're going to be learning JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So in general, this can all be encompassed in HTML. HTML is like how the text is like saying, let's add some text on this web page. That's by doing HTML. And right now, what we just did, this body, in the style tags, this is known as CSS. So CSS, once again, is like the color of the website. It makes your website look pretty and more attractive to the user. That's pretty much what CSS is. Because otherwise, yeah.
Since I wasn't here in last class, I was watching the video, and then when I tried to get the background color to work, it wasn't working.
It might be because you were opening a wrong file if you made multiple files, or maybe you just didn't click Command S or Control S, you didn't save the code. So you want to make sure that you're always saving the code. So when there's a white dot right here, that means that you didn't save your code. So I think that
No.
might have been it.
So when I was clicking the like before the like after the background color, there was like a button, I forgot what it was called. There was like a like um like so before the color, before you put your code or color,
Yeah.
there's like something.
Do you mean
And
this
then
text right here, the background color?
no, like after that.
This?
Yeah, the green one. The green.
Oh, this like box right here?
Yeah.
That's not popping up?
Yeah, that's not popping up on top.
Okay, so let's do this together, okay? So type in background color. And right here, when you choose background color, this pops up, right? I want to just click tab on my keyboard, and it's going to automatically fill that up. And now when I get here, it's just going to show me all the options of all the colors.
Oh, that didn't work. That didn't work for me. I tried that.
It's not working right now?
Yeah. Like so how did you get into all the colors and stuff?
Okay, so type in background. This time, instead of just tabbing, I'll just type everything in. And now you want to do a hyphen and then type in color and then colons.
Background color.
I think you might have not typed in these little colons right here.
Yeah, I did. I did. I did type those.
Like, is it like this? Like when I click here, it's not working, right? It's not like showing any colors. Is that what it's doing to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's like this, you want to just backspace, delete the colons, and then don't click out of this. Just type those colons in again, and now the colors will show up for you.
So remember when you were like in the last video, like the recording, you were like when you type BAC, like those word options were popping up for you.
Yeah.
To me, it wasn't popping up. I just have to.
Amaditi, what we'll do is after the class is over, because others are also there, right? We will, if Rishita can spend like 5 minutes and she'll clear everything for you.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Fine.
Okay, so now that we've chosen a background color and the font family, now we can actually get into the text. I mean the coding, right? So that's gonna be in the script tags right here. So let's create some script tags just like we created the style tags right above. You want to do the greater than sign again, and then type in script, and then close these tags up. And when you do, it's automatically gonna give you the other tag, and then when you click enter, now it's going to be formatted correctly. And here's the code that we have right now. I'm posting it in the chat. Okay, so now that we have the script tags in here, this is going to be the JavaScript portion of the website, right? So JavaScript is essentially what's actually going to make our website function, or like actually work, and not just make it look pretty and like have a background color and some text on the website. We need the website to serve some kind of purpose, right? So here we need to add some. Oh, before we get to actually coding in the script tags, let me come down to the body tags real quick. So for the body tags, we didn't actually have to make any body tags. It automatically does that when we typed in Shift 1 and then clicked return or enter. It should have automatically given you these body tags right here. So in the body tags, remember this is the HTML portion of your website, or portion of this code right here. So here we can have the header tags, the div IDs, and the input type, which is going to be button, because that's what we want to show up on the website. So right here, before we do this, actually, do you guys want to open up your website? So I remember some people were asking about this earlier. So if you want to do that, just click on your Finder if you're using a Mac, or your hard drive if you're using Windows, Dell, or anything else. And then over here, type in div id example.html, because that's what we named our website, right? Our file type. So when you do that, your file should pop up. And when you double click, this is what we have right now. So you can just delete these comments that I made, because that's why these are showing up right here. It's because we typed these comments in. So we can delete those real quick. We don't want that to show up. And now look how I made these changes and the white dot appears again. So now when I do Control S, the white dot disappears because I just saved my code once again. So now this is the most recent version. And now if I refresh, these like go away because I deleted the comments that I made earlier.
How do you save it again?
So to save it, you want to press Control S on your keyboard. Or if you're using a Mac, you want to press Command S. Is that clear? Okay, now back to the slides. So now that we know that this is like we changed the background color of our website, right? So if you click this box right here and if you make it anything else, and you once again Control S your code and you refresh, the color changes because you just updated the color, right? So that's just how the color can change. I wanted to like just show that you can like make any sort of changes real quick. Okay, so now back, yeah.
How would you open the page where you get the results?
Yeah, so to open that up, you want to go to your hard drive or your Finder.
Okay.
Like, you know where all your like files and all your folders are?
Yeah.
So you want to go there, and in the search bar, you want to type in whatever you name this file right here, the file that we're currently working on. So I
Okay.
named it dividexample.html, right? So if you type that in, the file that you just made should be popping up in your folders.
Okay.
And now when you double click on this, it's gonna pop up on your browser. And now, once again, this is just stored locally on your computer. This isn't actually like on the web, you know. And we know that because look over here, we can see exactly what folder this is in. This is in my users folder under my name in the downloads folder that I made. So you know that that's like the folder that's in. It might be something else for you guys depending on where it's storing. So don't worry about that. But I'm just letting you guys know that this is actually on a local file.
Can you go over it again?
Yeah, just type this into your search bar and then you can double click and you can get here.
Like, how did you get there again?
Over here.
Yeah, like the app where you go to that.
So when you click on where you can find all your folders, so the Finder for me, there's going to be a little search bar right here, which you click, and you can type in here. Or in other computers, the search bar might be somewhere else. I think in Androids, it's like down below here.
Okay,
So
so you're
wherever the search bar is, click on the search bar and then type in the name of your file.
okay.
Okay, we're going to be having some time to work later on. So if you aren't exactly at this step, don't worry about it. That's fine.
What do you want? I'm looking for something. I'm looking for this. Mom.
Okay, um so now we want to type into our body a title or like something that we want to show up on the website, right? Yeah, so earlier we talked about that we just need to delete this comments. So thank you for helping out, Aditi. Anyways, so in the body tag, let's make a header tag. So this is going to be text. Whatever we type in the header tags is what's going to actually show up on our text, on our website, I mean. So let's name this, let's just type click here or click me or something because we're going to be having a button right below the header tag, right?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm not being able to go to my website, like even the old one from the before one from session 1. I'm not being able to go to the website that I made. I went to the Finder, like my the computer I'm using is Mac, and
Yeah.
I do what you said, but I can't like
You can't
find
find
it.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you're searching for the wrong file. What did you name your file? Like, are you here in VS Code right now where you're typing in the stuff?
Yeah.
So right above here, what does it say to you? Mine says dividexample.html. What does yours say?
It's like the same one that you posted in the chat. I control
So
paste.
now when you go here and you click this and you type that in, what showed up? Nothing showed up?
Nothing showed up.
Maybe don't go in your recents, go in your downloads.
Okay.
And then type it in. Because you weren't actually on this file already, that's why it wasn't showing up in your recents. So type this in your downloads.
Okay. Let me go.
And if that doesn't work, we'll work on that after a bit because we do need to move on. We're kind of running out of time. So after you guys type in the header tags, click here, then click enter. And now let's make a div ID, right? So a div ID is pretty much a little space of open text on your website. So over here, we just created this. Let's add some text. How about I just name it that instead of click here? Let's add some text. So now that we made that, now when you do Control S, you saved your code and you refresh. Look at that. The text that we just typed in will show up on your website or your web page. Now we want to create the div ID, right? Or this part of your code. So the div ID is pretty much just a little bit of space right under this text that we're creating. So it's going to be like div ID is pretty much like an empty string. So it's a little bit of space we're creating right here that we're saying that whatever, like later on, we're pretty much saving the spot to put text in it later on, or an image or anything of that sort. You're just saving that space on your web page and you're giving it an ID. So when you do small less than symbol and then div and then type in ID, and let's give this div ID a name. Let's just call it exactly what it is. Let's call it div ID. And now when we close this with a greater than sign, it should close up with the other div ID. Okay, for anyone if this is confusing right now, how about you just type in this code, and once it actually works on the web page, maybe then it'll be a little bit more, maybe then you'll be able to understand this a bit more. So just type this in for now. And now let's actually create the button. So how do we create buttons, right? So to create a button, you have to put an input type. And now we have to mention what we want to type or what kind of element we're trying to make on our website. So here in the input type, if I put text, then I'd be creating a text box. But if I want to create a button, you can type in a button and then you want to add a value to this button, right? So a value is pretty much just some text that's going to be on the button. Like when you go to the website, you don't want just like a plain button there, right? You want some kind of text on there. So for that, we need to type in value and then double quotes once again. And then we could, over here, we could type in click me. Now, once we do that, we have to end this tag or it's going to give us a lot of compile errors. So we have to put a greater than symbol to end it. Now, after we do this, now if we save our code, Control S it, and just refresh, we will see a button on our web page. Okay, so now that you guys are here at where you click the button, where you can click the button, you want to go back to the your slideshow or VS Code, and then now that we type this in and we have the button popping up, we want the button to actually do something, right? Because we created this div ID, which is this empty space between the header and the button, which is between right here and right here. So right here, we have an empty space that we're allocating for some text. And we want that text to appear every time we click the button, click me. So to do that, we need to create a function. We'll be going more in depth into what a function is and like pretty much like what it does in notes in the next time. But right now, let's create this function. You guys could honestly just copy and paste this from the slideshow, but I'll be typing it in and going step by step on exactly what we're typing in. So definitely listen for that part. So whenever we type in a function or we're making a function, we always want to specify by typing in function first. And then right here where it says inject string, that's the name of the function. So I want to name my function something else. I want to name it Actually, maybe I'll just name it the same thing in case you guys do copy and paste the code, so we all have the same kind of work. So I'll name it inject string also. And then we want to do these open parentheses. So when you do this, when you do shift 9, these parentheses should just automatically close up on their own like this. And then we want to once again do curly braces and then click enter. And now we're seeing that we don't have any more errors showing up. And this is because we just created the function without leaving an open curly brace, because that gives a lot of errors. So now that we created the function, we need the function to do something, right? So now we're going to be creating a string or a variable that's going to be encompassing a string. So over here where it says let output string, we want to type that in. So right now what we just did is let output string is an empty variable. So right now what we just did was we initialized a string variable. So we initialized the variable to an open or an empty string because we didn't put anything in the double quotes right here. Because it doesn't have anything in the double quotes right here, right? So that's why we know that it's an empty string, it has nothing in it, and we're naming, and these are called variables. We'll be going more in depth into this. I just wanted to show you guys how like a basic like functionality would work. So if you guys have any questions on this, that's totally fine. We'll be going more in depth into what functions are and variables are. You know, oh, my bad. I wanted to call output string. So we just create a variable called output string, and every time we want to make a variable, we want to type in let. So we said let output string. So we're saying create an output string variable and then initialize it. So when you initialize something, you're making an equal sign. That's pretty much what initializing something does. So when you initialized or equaled something, or by something I mean the variable, to an empty string. So now that you do that, you can put text into the empty string. So you want to type in output and then string, the variable that we just made. And you want to do plus equals. So pretty much what you're doing now is you're saying to this variable called output string, I want to add and then make it equal to or initialize it to. Then we want to type in hello world. And always end it with a semicolon. So now we just made that, right? Now we made the function, but we don't, like, you guys will notice that when you control save this and refresh, nothing's happening with your code. That's because we didn't actually correlate this function to this button yet. So now over here, we want to type in on click. So these are called event handlers. You can see in the slideshow, I said that on click is an event handler that calls the function inject string when the button is clicked. So right here, you can just keep these empty strings. Over here, I just initialized it and I made it an empty string, right? So you don't have to type anything in here, Varsha. So here, I'm making the empty string equal something. I'm making it equal hello world, 2 exclamation points. So first, I initialized it by making an empty string, and then to the empty string, I'm doing plus equals. So I'm adding hello world text to it.
If you're behind, is there anything you can do? Like,
yeah, we'll get together at the end, or you can just copy paste the code that I'm about to put in the chat right now. I think some people might need it, so you could also do that.
but how do you copy and paste?
You do Control C, you highlight all the text, and then you do Control C, and then you go back to your VS Code, and then you just do Control V on your keyboard.
How do you like highlight all the text?
Duty, I'll talk to you, Amma, on that. Okay, after the
Okay.
class. Yeah, it's easy. I'll let you know.
Yep. So then, after we type in on click, we want to initialize this on click, which is a event handler. So by saying on click, we're pretty much saying when this button is clicked, I want this function to take place or happen pretty much, right? So now let's type in the function name. We named it inject string and then the parentheses. So now we're saying whenever this button is clicked, on click, I want this whole function to take place or occur pretty much. And now when you do Control S and you refresh, you're still gonna see that there's nothing happening. Does anyone have any idea why like literally nothing's happening? There's no change in our code. We're like, because we're saying that when this button is clicked, we want this function to happen. And that means that hello world is supposed to show up, but why isn't it showing up? Does anyone have any clue or just take any kind of guess, you guys? It could be because I didn't save and refresh, but in this case, it's actually because we created this div ID, but we're not setting this div ID equal to what we're typing in right here. So we're saying that, okay, I want this function to show up whenever I click me, right? But I'm never actually saying that I want this space between the header and between the click me button to do this.
Can you scroll to the right on your code so I can see what's there?
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
It's also pretty much just what's on the website, you guys. I mean the slideshow, sorry. So if you aren't able to like understand this, there's comments on the slideshow that you can go back to like this on-click event handler. Oh yeah, so I also wanted to mention there's other event handlers, right? So over here we're doing on-click. So that means on-click this button or wait, can't really see right now. Wait one sec. Which means that on click, you want that text to show up. But there's other event handlers like okay, so there's other event handlers that instead of on click, there's on hover. So that means instead of clicking this, if you're just kind of hovering above this, the text will show up. So that's pretty much what an event handler is. So now we want to correlate this div ID to this function, right? So I'm gonna make this slideshow large again so you guys can look at both at the same time. So now we want to create a document.getElementById. So over here, we're pretty much, wait, let me type it first and then I'll explain it. Okay, so here we're creating a document.getElementById. So pretty much every time we want to assign some kind of text to a div ID or a space on the website, we want to do this. And now we're going to get this div ID. So what did we name it right here? We named it div ID, right? So we want to get that ID. And now over here, this is in the inner HTML. So the body is called is also known as the inner HTML. So we want to do dot inner HTML. And then we want to initialize this to the variable that we just named. So we made a variable called output string, right? So we want this div ID to equal what we just typed in. So we can just type in output string, and then we do semicolon. We can save this, and when we run the code and do click me, you can see that hello world is popping up. All right, so should we go over how this just worked right now again, or is everyone clear on this topic? I think it would be beneficial to go over this one more time. So real quick, what we just did was called concatenation. So concatenation is pretty much doing plus equals, right? So over here, I can make another output string. And then if I want to add more text to the hello world that already exists, I can make another empty string and then type in this is how concatenation. Am I spelling that right? Okay, yeah. Works. So if I'm typing this in right now, yeah, so now when we click the button, it should be working. Your code should be working. So now when we type another string in, and when we do Control S, and now go back to our website and we click refresh and click me the button, you can see that it says hello world. This is how concatenation works because I added another string right here. So pretty much what we just did was we made a variable. So we initialized a variable. And also, you guys, I would say do these comments along with me so that you don't have to watch a whole an hour and a half video to find what you're looking for. If you didn't understand something during the lesson, you can just look back on your comments when what you're typing in throughout this lesson so that you know like what's actually going on in your code. So right here, we just initialize the variable. So by the way, this is how you make comments. You just do 2 slashes and then you type it in. And anything in green, it doesn't affect your code at all. So that's what that means. And now we're going to make so over here, we just initialize the variable output string to a empty string. Because when we do double quotes, that means empty string. And then right here, we want to do, I guess you could just call it as adding text to the variable. Because that's pretty much what we're doing, right? We're adding on text to the variable. And then over here, we could say concatenating I'm definitely not spelling that right. Concatenate more string or text to the variable. And now finally, we're getting the div ID of where we want this text to be displayed on our website. So now whenever you have like your code or your any string like running this long on your website, it doesn't really on your code, it doesn't really look nice. So just click enter and then do another 2 slashes so that you can have it better formatted.
Mine
So
isn't working.
Who was that?
Shreya.
All right. So did you create the div ID or the document.element by ID? And did you put the right ID here? Because that's usually the issue is that you just have like a little typo and then it's not the right ID.
I put that correctly, but instead of like when it clicks the button at the very top, it has like function inject string, like at the
Oh, okay. That might be because you're not doing it in script tags. Like, is that text just showing up on your website?
yeah, it's not like colorized.
Like, it's just saying like function inject string on your website, like here.
Yeah, on the top of let's add some text.
Oh, okay. I think that's because you're typing in the body tags right now. We want to be typing in the script tags. So like I mentioned earlier, the style tags, you're choosing a color for your website. In the script tags, you're doing the code for the
I put
function.
everything in the script tags.
You were doing this in the script tags?
Yeah.
Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah. 1 second. It says disabled attendee screen sharing.
You can do it now, Shubhan.
Okay. I think I'm screen sharing.
Yeah, I see your code.
Okay.
Do you want to scroll up for a sec?
That's it.
Okay, wait, stay there.
Okay.
Okay, so you have 3 script tags. So delete the script tag that's like right below your function. Delete that line. Delete line 24.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm sorry. I might put that back. Delete line 25. My bad.
Oh, okay.
So do you notice how you have 2 script tags in your code now? In line 16 and line 18, there's 2 script tags, right? So copy your whole function, Control C that.
All of that.
Yeah, copy that and then paste it between line 16 and 18. Paste that into line 17. And now delete the text below. And now just click, you want to tab line 17.
Okay.
Go to like the beginning of function where you're about to type it, and then just tab that for better formatting. And now in your code, you see that there's you didn't like put div ID in correctly, so you want to put quotes around only div ID. So you don't have like a beginning quote. So type that in real quick.
Like that?
Yeah, and now your code should be working.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, Control S that and then refresh your website maybe. All right, so now that we understand,
When I click the button, nothing is showing up.
did you save it? When you click the buttons, nothing's working?
But like it's not at the top anymore, but now the button doesn't work.
Okay, wait, share your screen again then.
Okay. I'm sharing it.
Yeah, let me just take a look.
You put the semicolon.
Okay, in your input type button where you're creating the button, I see that the inject string isn't like yellow how it's supposed to be. That would mean that like it's not correctly getting the function. So do you want to delete that?
Wait, which line is it?
In line 30, where it says on click, delete the inject string.
Okay, 1 second.
Oh, and also, you want to put a semicolon in line 20. Someone mentioned that in the chat, so that's also something that you should do.
Semicolon.
And then now in the on click, delete those parentheses too and the quotes, and just type in what I'm about to say. Because sometimes it might have been because of your script tag, so just retype it, put the double quotes, type in the quotes.
Okay.
Now type in inject string. Wait, no, actually go back, delete that, and like, yeah, take off the double quotes. just type in inject string and the double quote should be appearing. Oh, you're in all caps. And now put the parentheses.
Has to start as what?
No. The parentheses are like the name of your function, right? It's like it's not the name of your function, but it's part of the function. So you want to have the parentheses. That indicates that it's a function. And now put quotes around it now in the on click. Like around inject string.
Like that?
Yeah, save your code and try running it. Then I'm not sure why it's not highlighting, but
It's still not working.
that's odd. Okay, wait. Script. Oh, wait, is the S a capital S that you typed in? I can't
Yeah.
see it incorrectly. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, wait. I mean, to everyone, I just typed in like the line that you're working on. Maybe there's some other error or typo in your code. That's why that's not showing up. But try typing just this, like, or copy pasting what I just put in the chat.
Okay. Wait, where should I put this?
In line 30, delete what you have and just put in what I put.
Okay.
It's pretty much the same thing that you have, but like, okay, now save and refresh your code.
Okay.
Is it working?
No, it's not.
All right, we're gonna get back to some common errors that we might run into. And just actually, I think this might have to be the end since it's 12:30. So we could work that out, but pretty much what we just did was we took the inject string function and we're concatenating this string into the inner HTML. So wait, did you do dot inner? Okay, you did do dot inner HTML. I'm not sure what the error is. I think it might be in the body tags, actually. Oh, did you actually duplicate the files, maybe? That could also be a reason.
I didn't duplicate. I didn't touch the files.
Like, when you refresh like, just delete the web page, and then go back to it again, because sometimes it's really not your code, it's just VS Code being glitchy, so it could be that. I think it might be that in your case.
So just close it and then open it
Not the
again?
VS Code. Like, save this, but then close out the website on the browser, and then
Oh,
open it again from your folder.
okay.
Does anyone else have any questions on div IDs or anything that we covered in class today? I know only like a few people are like the main ones like that are engaging in the chat. But if anyone else has any questions, please feel free to just unmute your mic or let me know in the comments.
It doesn't work. I opened it again from my hard drive.
Try copy pasting the code that I just put in the chat. It's probably just a little typo that you made somewhere in your code, but your screen's kind of blurry, so I'm not able to tell clearly. So try copy pasting in the code that I have.
Okay, and then replace all of my code. Why is there so many?
Did you paste in what I have?
Yeah, I pasted in what you.
Oh, you just got like a bunch of spaces in between, but that shouldn't really matter. So just save your code and refresh. But after though, you want to take out all the spaces because that's just not right syntax.
Okay. Yeah, now it works.
Okay, I'm glad that was able to work. So I think it was definitely just like a little typo somewhere in your code because we pretty much have the exact same thing, right? So that was probably it. And we do have a few other things that we need to cover actually. Oh yeah, by the way, earlier when I was talking about, oh, I'm not sharing my screen. When I was talking about event handlers, on the slideshow, I have all the different event handlers that there are. So you can look over here if you're interested in like knowing more about event handlers or like what else you can do. So like over here, if instead of on click, I put on mouse enter and I did control save. And now I go to my website and I click refresh. Now without even clicking the button, if I just like go over it, the text shows up. So that's what event handlers are pretty much. And we do have a few other things to cover today, but I don't think we'll be able to get to them since we are a few minutes over the time limit already. So for this week, could you guys definitely try to just, get familiar with VS Code, with copy pasting code maybe, because you're definitely not going to be typing everything in. We have to utilize copy paste a lot in this curriculum. So do that and try playing around with the different event handlers and go to W3 schools. So let me put that in the chat actually for everyone to have that resource. So if you just type in W3 schools HTML in your browser, you should be able to get so many resources on what things you can do with your website, not just in terms of functionality, but also how you can make it look a little bit more neater and a more sophisticated look. Because we're going to be focusing mainly on the functionality of it because as for CSS, that's a bit more simple to learn. So yeah,
You
so just try making more projects over the week. Just create new files. You'll also get in practice with how to create new files, open them up. So yeah, just try to practice that a bit. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining today. I hope you learned a little bit, at least a little bit about div IDs maybe. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll answer a few.
you said after class you would